MrBunny has made a response to the recent callouts, and he has somehow again managed to make things even worse for himself. I made an in-depth vid last week going over his issues, but basically he's a star creator who puts a lot of degen stuff in his content. He also did things like make a UGC item of natural milk that implied it came from his female character, and posted NSFW content publicly on his YouTube community tab. MrBunny recently claimed he had made only one mistake, which prompted me to call him out for a ton of stuff, and that leads us to this. He made a half an hour long video and a large messy document to show everybody the veracity of his innocence, which has actually made him look worse. Unfortunately, it's all in Spanish, so there may be some rough translations in here, so forgive me for that. Thankfully, he was kind enough to provide the script for his video in the doc, so that makes my job a whole lot easier. It's titled Clarifying All the Funas Polemics of MrBunny, which is basically his way of saying he's explaining why he's being harassed or attacked. We haven't even made it past the title, and we've already got some issues considering he's being rightfully criticized more so than harassed. It's split into 9 parts going over different controversies he has faced throughout his YouTube career. It starts off by him going into detail about something completely irrelevant to what he's being called out for, and that is unfair Discord bans. It's mostly pointless and unimportant information, but it's kind of funny how he says people were banned for being haters, but nothing else. Also, the top comment on his vid is from someone claiming they got banned for suggesting a ban on NSFW fan art on his Discord because kids were in it. Part 2 goes into another completely irrelevant situation revolving around someone called Sophie Crack being jealous they didn't win an art competition. Part 3 is a little more interesting because apparently MrBunny was accused of being a p for having, as he calls it, a best friend. This was in 2020 to 2021, so he may have been around 19 to 20, and this girl was supposedly a minor, so that is a bit odd, but I've not seen any proof of wrongdoing. If there is any proof of something more sinister going on here, then please properly inform me, but I've not seen or heard of anything backing those claims. Part 4 is where things kinda go off the rails and make MrBunny look even worse than he did in the first place. Apparently, he had this artist fan who was 17, soon to be 18, that was going around saying they were 12 to 14 and had her do art of his female character. MrBunny sent her a not fully naked, but a picture of some barely clothed cartoon girl to this minor for her to base her artwork of his character off of. His doc seems to imply that the girl was 18 when this happened, but on Twitter he said he knew she was 17 and basically didn't think much of it back then. So yeah, he asked a fan who he knew was a minor to make art of his already suggestive characters in the image of an almost naked cartoon girl. He also admitted to paying for his artwork with Adopt Me pets because he didn't have any Robux to do so. Now this isn't behavior that's illegal or pedophilic, but it's definitely inappropriate, especially since this person was a minor. Having fans draw lewd art of your characters and paying with Adopt Me pets is dumb either way, especially with that game's audience surrounding you. I have a feeling that's not something the developers or moderators of that game will take lightly either, so we might see some reaction from them too. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that got him banned from Adopt Me or possibly even Roblox, but the chances of Roblox caring are near zero. Parts 5 and 6 aren't relevant to anything we've gone over, although in 5 he talks about how he had middleman pet trading in his server, which was very stupid. Part 7 gets more interesting because it involves his infamous natural milk stand UGC item and his usage of highly suggestive content. He first mentions how his infamous UGC accessory was a mistake and claims he asked Roblox to take it down shortly after putting it up, which they did. He then goes on to question why people are still mad at him considering the item is no longer up and there's now a fixed version of it available. Well, that's a pretty easy question to answer. It's because people do not like the attempt to upload something so degenerate on the catalog. There's a very clear pattern of certain female body parts that happen to produce milk in your content, so it's safe to assume this was meant to represent your breast milk. It was so bad that hate's gonna linger, And the fixed version with a winking cow saying it's still natural milk isn't a good look after what dropped before it. He then defends himself against the complaints about suggestive characters all throughout his content by saying it's not NSFW content because no intimate parts are shown. There's no apology or explanation or anything like that. He just says it's not NSFW and that his animator doesn't see it as inappropriate. Somehow he doesn't seem to view any of this as inappropriate or NSFW and appears to deem it okay to post to a child audience. I think he apologized for posting this too, while mentioning how the artist also apologized while partially putting blame on her for uploading it somewhere too. But yeah, he does not seem to think there's an issue with having these highly suggestive female avatars throughout his content because they're not naked. The vast majority of Roblox users can agree that showing this stuff to kids and using it to lure them into watching your vids is highly inappropriate. How is showing something like this to an Adopt Me audience in any way appropriate because it in no way or situation is? I think this guy's probable degeneracy is blinding him from seeing the problem of showing these ultra-sexualized characters to his young viewers. I'm being serious here. This guy probably needs some kind of therapy or mental help if he cannot see how showing this to kids is bad. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do much to change his mind on showing such content to kids, so let's move on. Parts 8 and 9 get into more random stuff, although 9 mentions another artist called Ren who was supposedly 17 while making art for MrBunny. I've not seen any of this guy's art, so I don't know if it was nasty or not, but given MrBunny's track record, there's a good shot it was. He then ends off the document by saying that he is innocent and everything bad said about him has been denied. Huh? Unbelievably, he seems to have this idea that his video and the document has proven him totally innocent and all claims against him are false. I'll be honest with y'all, I think this document actually makes him look worse, as he revealed a bunch of stuff new to us and hasn't changed his stance on his characters. Him having an underage artist create lewd art of his already suggestive character, then paying that person with Adopt Me pets is insane. Honestly, that's probably bannable on both Adopt Me and Roblox, and I would not be surprised if Adopt Me devs do something about it. Sadly, I would be fairly surprised if Roblox did something about this though, because we all know how little they care about who they partner with. I don't know who is in charge of creator relations or the STAR program or whatever it may be, but I don't think they pay attention to anything at all. I mean, Notive, who admitted to creating NSFW Roblox animations of minor Roblox users' avatars and sometimes sending it to them, was allowed to stay in. STAR program handlers seem to be out to lunch when it comes to what their members do, so I don't think they'll do anything. They definitely should, because a very kid-friendly platform endorsing and rewarding this kind of content and this kind of creator is totally inexcusable, but sadly it's pretty unlikely they do because they just don't seem to care about what's going on in their community most of the time. Thankfully, I think the devs of Adopt Me can recognize when something's wrong and inappropriate, so I bet they'll do something. It's likely neither YouTube, Twitch, or Roblox will care about his constant usage of suggestive characters in his vids for kids. That's all up to him to fix, but sadly he does not seem to recognize how it's a problem and seems to have no plans on stopping it. Maybe Roblox or Adopt Me devs punishing him will wake him up, so hopefully they take proper action soon. MrBunny is primarily an Adopt Me YouTuber, so them banning him would be a big part of fair punishment for his degenerate behavior. Unfortunately, this guy is yet to understand the problems he's creating, so I believe the best course of action for him, personally, is to seek help. Either he's lying to himself or he's too blinded by degeneracy to realize showing stuff like this to kids is wrong and highly inappropriate. He in no way proved himself totally innocent and has made himself look worse by refusing to recognize his biggest fault. Adopt Me developers should ban him and he should be removed from the Roblox Star program and banned from the platform quickly.